ReefDudes is sponsored by Brightwell Aquatics and Bulk Reef Supply. Today we're going to check out the Nyos Torq G2. What's going on, guys? Devin from ReefDudes. Now, I've been running the Nyos Reactor for a year or two now, and I did buy my original one. It's been an awesome reactor. I was sent the new Gen 2 to check out, so thank you guys for that. Now, today's video is more kind of going over the difference of them and kind of what's been improved over the two different designs. So this has been a great reactor for me. I love how sleek and compact it is. It's very space saving, no hoses. It keeps your sump super duper clean, which is awesome. Now with this, the whole thing can pop off, change your media, clean it, poke it on to adjust the flow. You don't even need your arm wet. You can just twist it. So that part is really, really cool. Now, one issue that I've heard others having with the original one, I didn't personally experience this one, but I do know two people that had the lid pop off on them. Now it is a very tight fit, so it would take a lot of force. And now the new design has definitely fixed that because now it's a twist lock rather than just using an O-ring to secure it. What I rationed was happening, if they're using a fine media like a GFO, it does have a sponge in the lid, and I think if that got clogged, over time the force would just kind of slowly inch it up. So that's kind of my theory on what was happening there. So without further ado, let's unbox a new one and check it out. Just love new acrylic, it's so shiny and pretty. Ooh, that is nice. Okay, definitely like the locking mechanism on the bottom of this one. So my one main complaint with the original one is to put the bottom in, there's one little notch in there, and it only clicks in if the notch is lined up in the right spot, which isn't a big deal, but there's an O-ring there, so it's a little harder to see it, line it up, and you gotta kind of work it down. So not a big deal, but it was one slight annoyance. So the new design has a twist lock, which removes that all together. So definitely like that. Another big change is inside of here, there is a mesh now. So you can see the prior model had a sponge, so that was a lot more time and effort, I guess, to rinse and clean the sponge every time. With the mesh, just a quick rinse or quick knock it off and you will be good there. Now starting out, taking a look at the base, you can kind of see on the bottom, this one is a much bigger opening for it. On this one, we just had the one circle on the side, so the flow kind of came up around the side and twirled. Where this one has little holes all around the edges. So this should help reduce channeling and do more even flow through it. So we'll find out, I guess, over time on that one. I definitely do like the mesh instead of the sponge. That's going to be easier to clean. The sponge always takes a little bit of work to clean it, where having the big mesh in there should be a lot easier. Now, one thing I noticed is this middle one is kind of stuck inside of it, so it looks like it was glued or put together inside. So for actually filling it, that might be an advantage because you can fill the one side from the top. You don't have to worry about anything falling out. You could flip it over and then fill the other side from the bottom. So kind of a funky design. And then this just pop on the bottom and twist lock into space. I do really like the twist lock. I think that's a much better design than just the O-ring because there's no chance of falling off. It also keeps very tight tolerances inside, so there shouldn't be any media going around it. Now looking at the top, we still do got our big sponge in the top, so this will capture any little tiny particles and prevent them from overflowing out into your sump. Now the top also does have an O-ring on it, so the O-ring does lock inside of it and secures the whole thing. So now this should work on the old base as well. So on the reactor we got a little triangle, same with the base. Put it on and twist it. So super duper easy. Now this actually slides very, very nice. It is new. One thing that I have noted over time, if the base gets dirty, it is a little harder to spin it. Now in general, if you just put a little bit of force on it, you can do it. Now I only have the Gen 1 base, but I was looking online and the Gen 2 base has little suction cups on the bottom. So that would stick it in place and probably alleviate any of that type of stuff. It gets gunged up a little bit to put it on and spin it. Now, one other thing I noticed in the very top of the sponge, there's a little tiny hole in there, and that's probably there just as like a bit of an overflow kind of backup. Because how it works is the water cascades up and it goes over the side and it cascades down the edge of the waterfall. It gives that kind of like zero edge look, which looks really cool. Now, if that was ever to get plugged up, I bet you that little tiny kind of pencil-sized hole in the top would be kind of a backup overflow, so it can come all the way to the top, and it'd prevent any kind of pressure buildup inside the reactor. So overall, I am pretty happy to see all the upgrades they did, and I think it addresses a lot of little quirks of the original one, and yeah, I think it's going to work very well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this first look at the Nyos Torq Gen 2. And if you guys have picked one up, let me know how you're liking in the comments below. Alright guys, if you enjoyed it, as always, smash that like button if you're new. Hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.